Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you.
What does the nanny do?
Okay, so we're done.
Goodbye.
You. Shut it off.
Do not twist my words. Do not make me a victim, sweetie.
Just look at the mountain. That's what you saw that day.
Just the knife in the kidneys over all these years and the sacrifices that I made to love you.
Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you.
Happy Cinco de Mayo for anyone who celebrates and anyone who's listening on our release date, May 5th. Yay! If you're not working and you're not driving, have a margarita, take a shot, eat a taco, do whatever you do on May 5th.
Enjoy some mezcal.
I know for me, it's just about the drinking, so I'm, traditionalist like that.
Agreed.
Season 5, Episode 3, More Sister Wives. Oh, we're going to be meeting more sister wives. Very inventive title, I would say. In this episode, we start with a reminder of the family's pre-approvals because we haven't talked about that enough. So in case you don't remember from the episode before this, or the one before that, or the one before that, they've been working towards being pre-approved for their homes at the cul-de-sac, and they have been pre-approved. We did get a moment of Robyn being told she was approved, and it was like, oh.
I didn't want my previous marriage to affect this family.
And one of the clips had her big old cold sore, and I was like, yes, don't ever let us forget about Robyn's cold sore.
Yep. They like to remind us.
Before we get introduced to these other sister wives, the Moore sister wives, America's second favorite polygamist family, we're going to go with Kody as he visits each of his wives' homes to discuss briefly their home plan decisions. We start at Christine's house, everyone's favorite Brown wife. There's a lot of favorites happening here, and I think I'm lying about all of them.
Oh, it changes. It changes each time, doesn't it? That's why we have the shit stain and the mustard seed.
It truly does change.
But this time, we're starting out with Christine being the favorite. We'll see if she is at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
They're reviewing the house plans, and Christine says she would like the 5-bedroom/6-bedroom option. My assumption is, and we definitely are not done with this topic. Oh my God, we are not done with this topic. But I think that means that Christine is going for the 5-bedroom option and is hoping for this dining room/office/study that's off the foyer to be a 6th bedroom because, she has all these kids and they need all these rooms.
We have Robyn and Meri affectionately calling it a hobby room. And we've got Christine saying that she wants 6 bedrooms, and Kody is like, oh, so you want the 5-bedroom option with the office.
Yeah.
And they're all talking about the budget here, and they all have the same budget, so they have to talk about their budget and what they want and to fit in that budget.
They only have finite resources.
Yes.
The second wife's home that we visit is Janelle. And, of course, she doesn't think that she needs 5 bedrooms. She just doesn't see it. She's got one kid that can be alone, one kid that can be alone. These two can be together.
She wants the kids to share rooms. She doesn't think that each kid needs their own room. And Kody is pushing her to have the extra bedroom. And he brings up Logan. And he's like, what? You don't think that Logan's going to be here to visit all the time in the summer? You don't think that one of the kids will potentially stay here, randomly? And he is kind of trying to be the voice of reason for her, and she keeps talking about penny pinching bullshit.
Yeah.
And I do understand kids sharing bedrooms is a thing. I shared a bedroom with my sister for a while. It was under obscure, weird circumstances that we had to share a bedroom, under duress, that we had to share a bedroom. And I think it builds character.
Nah.
You know?
I shared bedroom as a young child. And I personally don't think I was scarred for life from it. I think that makes sense. But there is something about becoming like a teenager where it's like, I don't know, just get your kid their own room. And I hate when I have to say this makes sense when Kody's saying something. It's terrible. But I agree with Kody in this situation. It's like, let your kids have a fucking bedroom.
All I can think of is 14-year-old me with my tiny little box white television that I purchased with my own money that I saved up, standing right up next to the speaker on top. It was on top of my dresser, watching Talk Sex with Sue at midnight on the quietest volume and listening with my ear up to the speaker. I couldn't have done that if I was sharing a room. I couldn't have watched Talk Sex with Sue and Oxygen After Dark with a sister sleeping in my room. It's part of growing up, weird shit like that. Come on.
Yeah, and if you do share that with your siblings, that does change a person, I think.
I mean, we're going to find out later on that maybe a couple of these other polygwives, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they were watching something
Maybe they were
like
watching
Sex
Sex with Sue together or the
Yes.
equivalent. She was around a long time before I ever started watching it. And it would even say on the bottom, this is a rerun, do not call in, when it would put her number up. Maybe they did. Who knows?
Robyn would like the hobby room and a 5th bedroom because maybe she'll have more kids. Ellipsis. ...
She is the only one that brings up that she wants the extra bedroom for a potential child.
She is the only one that's going to have a potential child other than Meri. But, right, I mean, like Christine.
If we're being honest with ourselves,
Well, right,
she's
like
the only
Christine
one.
and Janelle, like it has not been brought up. Like I think maybe at the beginning of the show, like the first season, they both said, like maybe after Christine had Little Truly Scrumptious, she might have said something like, I think I'm done.
Actually, I think that after Saul was born, she did have, I think she's brought it up, that she knows she's done
Yeah.
after that. I do remember her saying that she is done, that she doesn't want anymore, which is why it was even more of a slap in the face the way that Kody treated her during the end of her pregnancy and delivery. But, you know.
Well, and when Robyn says this about maybe having more kids, of course the producers give us this wonderful 2-shot of her and Meri in the same frame. And there's like a
Leave it in. Leave it in, motherfucker.
and there was like this long drawn out like moment where it's like, okay, yes, we get it. We're still talking about Meri's fertility. Oh my God. But luckily we don't get into that. Thank God. They just move on. And Meri is the 4th and final wife, even though she's the first wife, for Kody's house tour. House tour. I know there's a song about that these days, but I'm too old to know the words.
And what is the first thing that she says? Wet bar.
I want my wet bar.
I want my wet bar.
She wants that wet bar. That's her dream.
If it's under $8K, because that's what's left in her budget. And then she has to joke about wanting to add a tennis court for Leon.
Right. While they're discussing this, he says there's something about like, well, if as long as it's under 8K, then it should be okay. And then she's like, well, a tennis court for Leon. And I think he cracked a joke about it being like 45,000, or one of them did. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, like if only Meri was a little bit funnier. Because like if she,
I didn't know she was joking right away. And I literally looked at Chris and I said, if this bitch thinks she's getting a tennis court for like whatever 8K she might have left over, which it doesn't sound like she is if she gets the wet bar.
right.
Get out of town with this shit.
That's where I'm like, if she was funnier, it could have worked, but she's not funny enough. So it just seemed like she was legitimately suggesting it. And then there was like, obviously I'm kidding. And it's like, Meri, nobody knows you're kidding because you're fucking weird.
Yeah, get all the other kids out there to pack down some clay and dirt with some wood boards. Just pack it down, get your kids to work, and then you can have your fucking tennis court for Leon.
And like, that's even a real thing. Oh, so ridiculous. It's almost as ridiculous as her face in these episodes. Distracting, so distracting. Every time they do a close-up, I'm like, oh God, Meri.
The bad spray tan is still in full swing.
Oh, yeah.
Full swing. She must have gotten it for this trip. Because they're going to the beach.
For their upcoming trip. And then we get this introduction to America's second favorite polygamist family, It was kind of odd because I don't like sometimes how they edit it, where they give us some things but not enough things. So then you're like, okay, like what's happening? And then I think they think it's clever storytelling when really I'm like, oh God, what is happening? They start talking about there's 23 people in the Brown family and that there's 27 for this other family that we're going on a vacation with. A polygamist vacation.
About 50 total.
50 people that are going to be on this plig vacation, which means a vacation of polygamists. Oh. God, Meri thinks she's so funny, and it only gets worse. Like, these days, it's terrible.
I want to know if when Meri got into the spray tan booth, if it said, like, medium to light, medium to dark, cultural appropriation, and she just turned it all the way fucking up. Because pretty sure.
Well, maybe she knew that we would be re-watching and recording this episode and releasing it on May 5th, and so she went, I'm going south of the border for this episode.
She knew that we'd be reviewing this on Cinco de Mayo. You're right.
Yeah, she knew.
Because as I have told you before, I have astral projected into their past.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Into their past.
I thought you were going to say into Meri Cenote, but no, into their past.
Well, and I have said, well, I did check that out too. And let me tell you, issues.
Cavernous.
Not an egg in sight.
Oh, right, no eggs. Kody hasn't been here in years.
Oh my God. Hello. I gotta say, I have gone back and I did let her know.
We're going to be talking about you on Cinco de Mayo, girl.
Yeah, and it was...
Get festive.
It was a time where, people didn't think like they do now.
Right.
Unfortunately for her, I didn't warn her about cancel culture.
Right.
So, sorry about that, Meri. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Meri.
So sorry I did you wrong. I did you dirty, girl.
I'm wondering if this is the most inappropriate thing she could be canceled for in this show. I think mostly people just want to cancel her for other reasons that aren't appropriation. So, there's a lot of Cancel Meri out there. I'm the president of the Cancel Meri fan club.
Oh, boy.
So these 27 other people going on this polygamous family trip, this plig vacation, they're called the Dargers. Dargers.
Not the Duggars, the Dargers.
The Dargers.
So, throughout the episode, I want to make that very clear because the pronunciation of these people with that last name was questionable.
Yeah.
And I had to wait for it to come across the screen to spell it out to be like, okay, they are not related whatsoever to the Duggars. Well, we don't know that.
We don't know that, yeah. But it is the Dargers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, unfortunately, it took a minute to know what their last name was, even though they said it many times because of that thick Utah accent.
We learn about their family. They kind of go straight over to the family on the couch, the adults, after this "we're going on a plig vacation" announcement is like weirdly made just by talking about the amount of people going on the vacation.
Yeah.
We're going on a plig vacation. So we learn about this other family and their 23 kids. First, we've got Alina, wife number 1. Wife number 2 is Vicky. And then 10 years later, we get Val. And the kick in the shins here is that Val is Vicky's twin sister.
Well, and they're all married to Joe, who is the patriarch of the family. And so he's our...
The shock of the twin sisters. I totally forgot to introduce Joe. My bad.
So Joe is like our counter to Kody. He's the man of the house, the father of the family. And yeah, Alina and Vicky, they do introduce Alina as wife number 1 and Vicky as wife number 2. However, we learned that they got married at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know how one's 1 and one's 2. Maybe whoever's cavern is the smallest. I don't really know.
I think it's how the dads approved the marriage because they go into the approval of the courtship for each of the women. And I think it's the order that their fathers handed their daughters over consensually.
handed their daughters
I don't know.
to Joe. Yeah, so Alina and Vicky get married first to Joe at the same time. And then
Yep.
10 years later, Valerie, who is Alina's sister or Vicky's sister. See, this
Vicky's sister.
is Vicky's sister. Okay.
So, Alina and Vicky were raised in plural lifestyles. So, we go into this story of these two women first and how they met Joe. Alina and Vicky, they talk about being raised in the plural life and how this was not odd for them, and that Joe's mom knew that they both liked him and went and spoke to them each and said that they should pursue him together.
Right.
So Joe's mom went and spoke with these two women that were both pursuing her son and was like, well, we could kill two birds with one stone here with my son. And I'm going to encourage these two women to go and marry him.
Two clams on a surfboard.
Yes.
Surf and turf.
Surf and turf. Joe talks a lot about how courtship is for the intention of getting married, and it's very serious. And that this proposition of these two ladies kind of took him by surprise, even though his mom was pulling the strings of the puppets. I think he's being very genuine in the fact that he wasn't just jumping on this idea right away. He really wanted to think it through, and it seemed like a lot to him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it didn't sound like BS when he was talking.
I didn't think so. I think this entire episode, he is very forthcoming and like blunt. So Vicky's dad said that he was completely okay with her getting married at the same time as Alina to Joe. But Alina's dad was pissed. And it took a little while for Alina's dad to approve this. And he said to Alina, I'm giving my permission, not my blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's odd that it's like the wife number one, Alina, then Vicky, because Alina's dad was the second. So I guess it doesn't make sense that it was the dad's approval. That was the order of the wives.
I have a confession, honey.
Yeah.
I don't know who these women are. I was confused for most of the episode about who was who and who was a twin and who sucked his dick first and who sucked his dick second. It was a lot for me. I mean, a honeymoon? There's so many things about this story that's insane.
It is.
And it also doesn't help that all these women look similar from a distance / like for me, if you just kind of moved them around in order on the couch, I would have been like, I didn't know that you changed them. I thought that the twins were not the twins because I thought they looked more alike. And then you were like, no, the noses. There's two that have some beaks.
Yep.
And one who has a
ski jump nose.
Ski
Little
jump.
Ski jump nosy.
And so when I could catch that, I could go, oh, sure, yeah. And when they were standing, there was some height differences. But when they were on the couch, there were several times where I was like, I don't know who is who.
I could tell the noses, and then there were times where both twins would turn a certain way and you'd clock it. But I just find the whole situation very interesting because you got another type of group. So they're not part of the same religious sect.
Okay.
Which they did make pretty clear. And I don't know what the distinction is. A lot of listeners that are deep divers, maybe, comment, let us know what you know. But yeah, it was crazy because you've got Alina's dad being super upset and saying, well, I guess you have my permission, but not my blessing. And Alina calling up, Joe right away afterwards, like, I can do it. We're going to do it. And part of me thinks, and I do not want to assume anything about anyone's sexuality, but I think that there was this friendship that formed between these two women. And part of me wonders if it was more about that than about Joe.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I'm not sure that I was picking up that vibe, but I also wasn't looking for it. I was trying to remember who was who.
Yeah, Joe talks a lot about how they became best friends after his mom kind of was like, oh, maybe you should go pursue him together. And I really don't want to like push any sort of agenda or idea on these people, but there's a part of me that thinks of like lavender marriages, and maybe they were hanging out a lot, and Joe's mom saw it, and in her idiotic mind that's blinded by religion, she thought that they both were interested in her son and they weren't. I don't know. But anyway, I think that these two women got along really good to even have gone along with this from the start. So.
Sure. I mean, Joe does reference how in their culture, a reminder of that they court to marry, not to date. So that's definitely a big thing when discussing their background. Like, he's all about kind of the, oh God, whatever the steps are, the protocols of like their courting rituals and blah, blah, blah. And he did at one point say something like, oh, and I would drive up to the house, and both their cars would be there, and I would be all giddy or excited. And it's like, okay.
He was like, I'd be intimidated though.
Okay.
Like, because it was a lot and like
Yes.
overwhelming, 2 women at once instead of just one. I think that it was like, ooh.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get inside Joe's brain.
Yeah. He's very a stoic person.
Yes.
Seems like.
He has a skull. He's got a bald head.
A skull.
It's shiny. And he definitely is a rule follower. He's a rule giver.
Yep.
And they give us an example right off the bat.
Yep.
Because Joe is providing seating assignments for the children for getting in the vans to drive to Vegas.
Yeah, he has a straight up seating chart, and he says once they're assigned to a seat, they don't argue with me. That's where they're sitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so great. So this is something, a little foreshadowing as well into the parallels and the differences between he and Kody is like a theme of this episode.
Yep.
Before we get into the seating assignment bit, there was a moment where one of the Dargers provided an update saying that they are going to drive to Vegas and stay with the Browns overnight, or stay in Vegas overnight. And then they're going to be heading to Southern California, to Oceanside, as this polygamist vacation, this plig trip.
Plig trip. They keep calling it.
My God.
Yes. Plig vacation.
So that when they give us this example of the seating chart, it's a little like, okay, because then all of a sudden we're back to talking about how they got married 2 weeks after he proposed. At least the first 2 lesbian sisters.
Yes.
I mean, they're not sisters and they're not lesbians. The two
scissor
wives.
sisters. No, these 2 aren't sisters.
The scissor sisters.
We got the scissor sisters and we got the twin sisters. Okay, they're separate.
They're 2 different sisters, but they're all sister wives. Holy shit. We are meeting a lot of sister wives and a lot of sisters and a lot of things.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. A lot of spit being exchanged around here. Valerie volunteers that she was married previously in a plural marriage, but it didn't work out. I don't know, do a little chin scratch when it comes to
scratch.
A little skin scratch when it comes to being previously married in a plural marriage with no details given, right? Was there many wives? Was there just one other wife? Was it like an abusive relationship? Was it scissor sisters where the blades got very dull? What was happening?
Yeah, she doesn't obviously give us any juicy details there.
Unlike Robyn, who's like, it was terrible and it was horrible and I had to leave him. Like, she's just like, I was in a previous plural marriage.
For 11 and a half years, though.
Yeah, for a hot minute.
So it wasn't just like she tried it, didn't work. No, she had kids with this other person, and it was 11 and a half years, and she was only divorced for 1 year.
Yeah.
Before coming to visit her sister, Vicky.
Yeah, for less than a year. And she comes to visit.
Yep.
And when Joe is talking about this visit, I was like, what in the world at first? Because he's like, it's like I had never seen her. And I was like, it's her fucking twin. Like, obviously you have seen her before.
I think he just means like in a sexual way. Like, I'd never looked at her in a sexual way. I'd never thought of her or seen her as anything other than my wife's sister.
Yeah.
And then on this trip, that lightning struck.
Oh, God.
Struck him
Lightning
straight
struck,
in the chest.
God. Lightning strikes so many of these fucking polygamists.
It was like his half-beating heart was finally fully a thumping away.
Which means his first 2 wives were only a quarter of his heart. Like, it's just sad. This math is sad. It was lost on me at first. So I was like, he had never seen her before. And then it's like, oh no, he had never seen her before. He realized that maybe she could be the one that sharpens those wives' sister scissors.
Vicky said that she saw her sister and Joe look at each other and like the look was just different. And she knew right away that they would eventually be married.
She could smell where that lightning struck. It was like sulfur.
She could smell what they were all about to be stepping in.
Valerie talked and all she could smell was sulfur.
She could
She was like, it's not Valerie's halitosis.
Oh.
It's the lightning. Oh my God. Please forgive me. And Joe says, we prayed about it, and then we determined that Valerie should marry her sister. I mean, me. It's just so weird and incestuous feeling.
It is incestuous. It's literally the definition of incestuous, I think. Well, okay, not really.
Maybe
it's not a brother
they're
and
not
a sister,
having
but
sex with each other. But are they not having sex with each other?
they're bunker buddies, or what do you call it? Tunnel buddies.
I don't know if they talked about if they share bedrooms in this episode.
They did not. They share a kitchen. We find out for sure, but
they definitely share a kitchen. But do they share a bedroom?
Yeah.
They skipped over that detail.
Oh my God, what do they call that when you are like, oh, we've been with the same guy? They have like a term for it. Women do. Us women. Us ladies. I can't even think of it right now.
I know, because I'm going, if it's the other way, it's usually sloppy seconds. But that's kind of gender neutral.
Why I want to say bunker buddies, but that's 1,000% not it.
Okay.
It's not it.
Yeah, I don't know what it means when you both are slobbing on the same knob.
Tunnel buddies.
Tunnel buddies?
No, that's what two guys
No.
call if they've been with the same girl.
I feel like I don't know any of these things.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's because I'm a pure gay man.
Well, yeah.
Very pure. Touched by an angel.
I'm just going to shout it out later in the episode if I remember.
If all of a sudden you're like, bah!
No.
We'll know what it's about.
One-eyed snake whispers, charmers? No.
Snake whisperers.
No. Oh, God.
Then the Brown adults are talking about being sisters and sister wives and the complications involved in that. Like they're having this couch moment of like, I remember there was one moment where Christine says something like, if my sister married Kody and was my sister wife, that would open up a whole nother box of complications. And I'm like, bitch, duh. But I'm glad they gave us the obvious because, this is sister wives. So they have to tell us things like that.
Yeah, but part of me thinks that she's not too far removed from family members being with other family members. So this isn't all that new to her, and that's why she says this.
She's like, this is normal conversation.
She's like, well, we'd gotten a little bit away from this by now, so I just can't even imagine. 2 generations ago, sure, but not this generation.
We're a modern polygamous family living in Vegas. Like, okay, all right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Meri says something about like, hopefully by the end of the weekend, we'll be able to tell Alina and Valerie apart, which I love because I'm like, girl, I couldn't. I was just
Valerie and Vicky.
Valerie.
Vicky.
See, I didn't even say the names right.
I don't think they even ever call her Valerie. It's Val and Vicky.
Val. Well, I know it's Valerie. I know Valerie because that was how she was introduced. But if they call her Val, that's fine. Val.
Well,
Val and Vic. Or Val and Al.
We're probably both completely wrong. And actually,
Al,
Joe
Alina,
was the twin
Vic
sister.
Or Val, Valerie, Victoria, Vicky. There's a lot of names and a lot of faces, and I don't know any of them.
Well, one of us is going to be wrong, and we're going to get called out for it. So.
Yes, please shame me. Shame me in the synagogue for being so wrong about this. But I'm actually not ashamed because, oh my God, these women.
It was confusing, and they didn't show their names every time that they spoke.
They
showed it like one time.
If anything, this is when they needed that bottom third, like the entire episode, because it's like there's 27 members of their family, and then they're like randomly would show a name, but it was like, oh, we needed this like 5 times more regularly.
Yeah. So we get to Meri's house, and the Dargers have shown up, and the two families are getting together at Meri's to have dinner, and they're joking about how they're not going to remember each other's kids' names.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's just too many of them to remember.
Yeah.
And it's funny because both, couples are joking with each other about it. they're debating on when to leave. And like Kody and the Brown wives are just going back and forth on what time they should leave. And it's obvious that the Dargers are way more organized. And this is when it comes up where Joe is like, please just do not tell me to be here at 9 and have us leave at 10.
Yes.
Because I'll be annoyed.
Right.
And I don't blame him.
It's funny because it's not something that maybe you would normally qualify out of nowhere. They have been family friends for 4 years, they referenced earlier in the episode. So they are aware of each other. I don't know that they spent, every holiday together, but he probably knows their skis. Like he knows their, and not like downhill skis, like their skis. Like he knows their vibes.
He doesn't know Meri skis because she doesn't.
Meri doesn't know her own skis. Oh my God.
Pie. Pizza.
Oh God. Meri was like, oh, I've got that knee brace. Got to put that back on. But I love this whole, it is true. For me, it would be frustrating if someone was like, hey, show up at 9 and we'll hit the road. And if they were still getting their shit together at 10, I would be tapping my foot, looking annoyed, and I would be staring at them being like, are you done?
If you have 23 fucking kids with you and you're waiting for an hour and you've organized your caravan and you're like, we're ready to convoy, and you show up with your caravan in tow and all in check, like this guy who's like acting like he's in the military, and the Browns are a shit show, and he knows it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, the Browns can never be ready, and they're never out the door on time. They are tragic, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a couch moment before we come back to them all getting together where they're talking about this kind of comment from Joe. And Meri says, well, I could marry a man like that. And Kody gets up and walks out of the confessional as like a humorous moment because he's like, they're all kind of joking about how, it'd be, with a man that's like that or whatever. And Meri, I can marry a man like that. And he just gets up and walks out, and it's pretty funny. They all laugh.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that Meri would probably do better in an organized situation like this. We get to the next morning, and they are all packing up their vans and getting ready to go. Janelle is hoping that Joe is not going to be mad because she's worried that they're running behind.
And she makes that comment, like making fun of him. Remember? Where I don't remember exactly what she said.
Well, Janelle and Meri kind of joke and repeat what he says. And Janelle rolls her eyes and she goes, and kind of says it in like a mocking voice. Like, better not be running late, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't be with someone like that. And she rolls her eyes. But they're all packing up and just kind of crossing their fingers that it works out because that's what they do. They don't come up with seating charts. They just cross their fingers and hope.
Let's get our family of over 20 in these vehicles and hit the road without a plan. That's so the Browns.
Well, then these amazing producers don't give us much else here, except we get Joe saying that I didn't expect us to be leaving on time. And so I guess that's hinting that they left on time, which would be around 10 a.m. And that's it.
At least Joe didn't have to throw a fit or, beat anyone in front of the cameras. That would have been, that would have been something.
He is pretty muscular.
Listen, I was going to say, there's some circumstances where I would take the beating and I'd be happy about the beating. And then there'd be other times where I'd be like, this is not right.
This ain't right.
I'm ready on time, honey. Stop beating me.
Get your hands off me.
But then other times I might be late on purpose and be like, I don't know, I guess I might deserve a beating.
Drag me to the car by my heels.
Oh, God. We're terrible.
I don't know who is driving the white car, but as they're pulling up to the rental homes, Kody's like yelling at one of the people driving one of the cars, like, learn how to drive. And I think it's like his own kid.
It is funny because all of a sudden we just arrive at Oceanside, California. Like, beepity boppity boop. We're from Vegas to Oceanside. Now, the quickest you're going to drive from LA area to Vegas is probably like 5-ish hours. So they probably had like a full day because the Browns also can't get anywhere quickly. So it was probably like a 7-8 hour drive.
Think of all the potty breaks with the little kids.
This is it. And like Kody, they don't plan anything right. So I'm sure by the time they got there, Joe was like, we should have only stopped twice or something,
We had to stop this many times. You guys didn't have a toilet in your car like we did with the flip out toilet.
He's like, you're peeing in the van. So they arrive at these oceanfront homes at Oceanside. And it is funny because, yeah, there's like parking, the blah, 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 some reference to who's staying in what house, blah, blah, blah. I didn't care about any of that. But it was fun to watch Kody try to help Meri park in the garage.
Oh,
Because she's like backing up and he's like, you got 3 feet. Then he's like, stop. And it's like, oh my God.
He like yells so loud and it's just
All
such an
the time.
attention-seeking thing that he didn't need to do. And I literally was like, yeah, that was an unnecessary one of his attention-seeking yells.
Yeah, very strange. Well, just very Kody. Ugh, very Kody.
Yeah.
And I think next we're just in the houses talking about where people are going to go, blah, blah, blah. And they let us know that Joe had floor plans printed out with assigned rooms. And I was like, God, I love this man. See, maybe I wonder if Joe wants to have another wife. But I love a good floor plan. I love a good planner. I love a person who would print a floor plan and assign rooms to that many people. I'm not mad about it.
I think in a situation like this, you have to treat it like you're running a summer camp. And I don't know why the Browns don't do this. I don't know why Janelle doesn't do this. I think because there's this facade that she's organized, but it's not true. And then I think Meri's a little too scared to pull the trigger on things like that because she's been yelled at before for doing it. So I think everyone's a little like, we don't want to make the decision, but we want someone to, and then no one does.
Yes.
So they go back and forth until they're all blue in the face and they pass out, and then that's just where they're sleeping for the night. Whereas Joe had the entire home layout up and was assigning spots for everyone to pass out. Smart man.
Here's your designated pass out spot.
Yes. We don't drink, but you can hold your breath, make yourself dizzy until you feel like you're drunk, and then pass out.
Oh, that sounds nice. All the wives are talking about the efficiency. There's several references to how it must be nice and how old is that. It's like, right, yeah, like once again, just make a plan. I mean, there is something about their dynamic with power struggles, different things that have happened throughout the years where it does seem like Kody wants to be the one making decisions, but is terrible at it. And none of the wives want to step up because they're being sensitive to each other. They've been beat. I got to stop saying beat in this episode. They have been put in their place too many times, so they are not going to do that, probably amongst each other. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird that they have this kind of like affinity for the way that Joe does things, but then none of them do it. And Kody does even make a joke about how like Joe is the one that makes the decisions in his family. And I'm not the one that makes the decisions in this family. My wives do. And it's like, nobody's making decisions.
Yeah, Joe leads and people listen, Kody says. And then he says that all of his wives lead and have an opinion. And then it like goes off the rails from there. I have to say, with the way that Joe leads his family, I would liken it to like if, let's say you were going whitewater rafting and you have a guide. And the guide is like, okay, this is what we're going to do to stay safe today. And I'm going to get you through the rapids. And when I say, put your oars here, we do this. And, you know, and he was like leading the trail. You felt safe. Whitewater rafting can be dangerous. Now, if that same guide was like wavering on every decision and like, well, I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Do you feel safe doing this? Because if you do, I guess we'll do it. And if you don't, then we won't. You would feel so unsafe and everyone would feel frantic all the time and the kids would start feeling frantic and it trickles down throughout the entire family. And you've got Joe who is like being a leader and stepping up and making his family feel secure by just making the decision. And then you've got this wavering leader who's like leading the Boy Scouts. It's like you got like a head of an army and a Boy Scout leader.
Yes.
And it's just, you're comparing apples to oranges.
And that's quite a compliment for Kody. I don't think that he could even lead a Boy Scout.
Probably not. They just keep comparing the husbands and the wives like over and over again throughout this entire episode. And so that was my like visual as I was like seeing all of this.
I also think that Joe doesn't come across as like authoritarian to me or like, there was some hinting of like, you know, there's some references to it later, like, you know, he's a pile driver, he's a whatever. But really, it's like you just have to be in that kind of environment. Otherwise, you're going to have fucking Brown family chaos. Someone has to be taking the lead. And of the examples we saw, I didn't think he seemed out of line or too brash or anything. He was just literally trying to like lead the family.
I think it would have been really hard to hide if he had been like a shitty dad or like an actual like wolf in sheep's clothing. I think it would have been harder to hide because I honestly think that Kody's oldest brother was hiding some shit, which is why he was being so guarded and quiet. And this guy is like, no, I just know who I am. I know how I lead my family, and this is how we do things, and we plan ahead. Then we don't have the chaos. And I think that all of the wives in the Brown family were kind of just blown away by that and just couldn't even fathom it. And dare I say they were turned on by it? I don't know. They maybe were leaving snail trails.
I was going to say there's so many references to like, they were near the ocean. It was damp. It was moist. Someone got spritzed in the face a little and it was like,
Even his kids, like we'll get to later, like the son alludes to the fact that no, like dad's in charge and like we all know it, but not in a way where it was like he was scared and felt like he had to protect his family or like hide something. And I know you can't tell all of that by an episode of a show, but like,
that's true.
Frankly, I truly think they were being very upfront and honest about who they were.
So the families go out on their first adventure, which is so exciting. They're going to go to the beach. And it was hard for me to know where they were going because I feel like at one point there was some Carlsbad Lagoon was said. And then you said some sort of other title.
All I got was Carl's rental place.
Oh,
They were going to Carl's.
So it was Carlsbad, but then his T-shirt, this guy said California Water Sports. So I'm like, like a lot of businesses in one little shack or something.
It was a rental place.
Yeah. They were going to get paddle boards and surfboards, water accoutrement to have some fun on the coast with the like tide coming in and the sun in the sky. The owner was a douchebag.
Oh my God. Carl.
Was it Carl, or did you just hear the first part of Carlsbad?
I'm just calling him Carl because it's Carl's rental place.
Yeah, okay. I did not catch his name, and let's go with Carl. Carl is a douchebag, for sure.
That's two big families there. And then he says some sexist joke about too many chicks. I got enough chicks in my life.
Yeah, he's got a female dog and a daughter. He's like a chick magnet or something.
Yeah.
It's like, ew. Like, as he was talking, my penis literally fell off my body.
Like,
it was
gross.
disturbing.
I mean, that's all I can say about it. He was like gross and he thought he was, I don't know if he thought he was being funny or if he was high, but it was like, okay, dude.
Yeah, if he was high, it was a waste of a high because he was not funny. It was ridiculous.
Some sexist joke shit, and then we moved on.
Thank God. The parents are on the couch. The Brown parents are on the couch, and they discuss how some of the kids could date each other from each of the families. And Christine makes sure to clarify, their family dating our family. Like, okay, once again, we're avoiding the incest. Like the Darger boys.
Say it out loud.
Yeah, the Darger kids could date the Brown kids. Like, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, Christine says that she wouldn't mind. And this is where they talk about how at least some of the Brown daughters were eyeing some of the Darger boys.
Mm-hmm.
And Robyn has to pipe up and act like she fucking knows everything. And she claims that she heard two of the girls, their girls, saying that they should be sister wives with one of the Darger boys that they both apparently liked.
Did you believe this story?
No.
It did not pass my bullshit meter.
No.
Which was so weird because I was like, this seems like so strange.
The way she said it was exactly like one of my girlfriends in high school lying to her fucking parents. I kid you not.
Oh, wow.
The inflection in her voice when she said that, I looked at you because I was like, she is fucking lying. She's pretending that she knows something here, and she does not.
It totally felt like she was just making it up on the spot and then was like, I'm committing myself to the bit. And it's like, well, why did you even do this?
Well, they tell me everything, Chris. I'm the cool mom. I'm the young mom. And these young girls, they come to me with everything. And You guys didn't hear that? Oh, well, I did. Shut the
Totally.
fuck up, you liar.
She's such a bitch.
She is, because do you think these innocent girlies, they're girls that are too, like, embarrassed to probably talk about a lot of this shit, are saying that, like, nonchalantly, like, gossiping in front of Robyn about marrying the same boy? Get the fuck out of here.
My gut is telling me that at the most, the adults saw a pattern of kids checking each other out. You're giving some eyes, looking at each other. I think that's probably true.
Innocently,
about it.
like,
Yeah. Like, I'm a teenage girl and there's a teenage boy and I'm going to watch him, like, pick that surfboard up and be
And
like,
I'm
oh, look, he's
giggling.
got arms.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing. Oh, Robyn has to ruin everything.
well, because another thing that they point out too, and this is a little later on, is about how the Darger family works out together every day. And the Brown family They're a
Claims that they do.
they're a little soft.
Yeah. They're
They
a little
don't do
like me
that.
before the Ozempic. I mean, before all of my exercise, when I was going to start the
Oh my
polygamist
God.
playground or whatever their gym was going to be. Fundamentalist fitness.
They're a little bit like me before my 50 sessions of sculpture fat freezing.
Yeah,
sessions.
cool sculpture.
Cool sculpture.
Yes. I mean, we're all natural, working out every day. And, I think I'm a little more like Janelle genetically than Vicky/Alina/Val.
Oh my God.
Were those their names, I hope? Back at the beach house. Or back at the beach homes. I don't know. We're at somebody's beach house. Out on the back, enjoying the lovely view of the beach, the sunset, the waves crashing against the shore. Well, we didn't get to enjoy any of that, but the Browns might have. Instead, we are sitting around a table on their back deck, patio, whatever you're going to call it, having a chat. Kody's asked about why they came out publicly, which I always like the coming out topic because I have never done so myself. I'm in the closet, and I really like to hear people's stories about coming out and being who they really are publicly.
Theirs is a touching one.
I didn't really care about the details of Kody's story because we've heard it so many times before, so I don't really care. Like, he just went through his bullet list of like, oh, we did it because of this, and, there were so many people that thought that the bad guys were the good guys and the good guys were the bad guys, and I was here to set the record straight. And it's like, cut to, you are a terrible example of what a polygamist man is. Not that there's good examples. I don't know. It was
Yada,
just
yada,
unhelpful.
yada. Wrong representation. Yada, yada, yada. We didn't want that anymore. Yada, yada.
Exactly. This is where Vicky shares an example of how polygamy and people's perceptions of polygamy has negatively affected her and their family when talking about losing a 5-month-old baby.
I think it's Val that lost the baby.
See, once again,
And I am like, I do really truly want to apologize, like, out loud if we're wrong about this, because we both thought that it was a different sister. And so I am sorry if we were wrong about this. We were trying to get it right, but they weren't putting the names up anymore. When
I love how
people
you're
were
apologizing
talking.
because I'm like, I'm so not apologetic. These people, like, I don't know who it was. Let's go with one
but
of the
I'm gonna
women.
just say, like, it's a hard story to talk about. So, like,
True.
I wish that I hope that we have the person right, because it's a rough story, and I can't even imagine going through this.
Yeah, and you're giving whoever shared this story the respect
I
that they
think it
deserve.
was Val. It was the tall, skinny one with
The schnoz.
the schnoz, the beaker. Meep meep.
Okay, honey, now tell us about this story and why you want to give her so much respect.
Well, Val had a
Whoever she was.
5-month-old baby.
I'd say whoever she was. Whichever one shared this story, you want to give her the props and respect she deserves.
Val had a 5-month-old baby that died and passed away in their home. And of course, whenever a baby passes away in your home, especially, they have an investigation that they open. They just want to get to the bottom of it, whether it's SIDS, something else, And since they're a polygamist family, that investigation got pretty rough. They were asking invasive questions about the doctor that she saw and asking if the doctor was a polygamist and if she knew that, and kind of questions that they wouldn't ask a family if they didn't know they were polygamists. And I don't know if those questions really are pertinent to the investigation at all, about a child passing away. Does it matter if their doctor that delivered the baby was a polygamist? Like, probably not. Unless you're truly living on the compound, which we all know about, and their nurses would hide things a lot, particularly babies that passed away. But these people are not living on a compound. They actually were seeking medical attention, so it's a different scenario. And to lose a baby at 5 months old as a mother would be scarring enough and truly fucking awful. But then to have an investigation into your family opened and be scared of losing the rest of your children, I can't even imagine what that woman went through. And I'm sure she needed all the support that she could get. And yeah.
For the investigation to be heavy on the polygamous parts of their lifestyle adds this other layer because, yes, when a young child dies, there is usually an investigation, and that is traumatic on top of the experience you've already had. So to add this extra layer, it didn't... we also don't get a lot of details. So, she does mention that this baby had a heart defect amongst other health issues. So, questioning about the child care being given to a child like that does make sense on a logical level, but that would really suck to have your lifestyle questioned along with it. That would be terrible.
And the only reason I can picture it being a factor is if you didn't believe in giving medical attention, and is that neglect then? But these, I don't even want to say these people, the Dargers are not of the faith where they don't believe in medical intervention from what I could tell. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not. I don't know. But then we get Vicky, which is Val's sister, who tells a story about how, they were scared about the children getting taken away because their mom's dad was in prison and they would hear stories about it. And she words it very oddly. She says, my mom's dad, not like my granddad, was in prison. So this whole story is a little vague and like round robin. We get a lot of round robin in this entire fucking series, but...
Not square robin, round robin.
This one is... It's confusing, and it's a story that justifies some,
some potential
sensitivity.
feelings.
So, it was intentional. It was very intentional.
The way she stated it seemed intentional. So hard to know why it was stated that way.
Yeah. And we even did go back and watch it like 3 times, not kidding, because we were confused and I thought I heard one thing. Chris thought he heard one thing. So we went back a few times.
I didn't know who was talking.
Well, right. And I'm like, the tall, gangly Big Bird. And then we've got the Grover as the twin. Grover and Big Bird. And then we've got McGabby, Dabby.
But was she the one you wanted to show the respect to a minute ago? Or was this a different one? I love how you're talking about giving people respect on this show. Oh, and I don't mean their show. I mean our show. Like, this is funny. Oh, my God.
I'm trying to think of what people would have called me when I was Purgante, or like what they would probably call me now. And this is why I have a fear of caricatures. So,
wow.
Which is how my husband proposed to me.
Oh, yes.
Which is why it was such a shock. And, he got me there. He really surprised me with that one.
Of what you looked like as a cartoon character.
It's like one of my biggest fears. Like, caricatures are like, I'm so sorry, but they're fucking hideous every time. So,
mine have always been very attractive.
Oh.
Okay, just kidding. Janelle asks, has us going public helped in any way? And then Joe goes on some diatribe, some speech or whatever. I shouldn't say it like that. He just says something along the lines of, I get frustrated over how much more needs to happen, like with public perception and with polygamists living in the shadows. And it's like, well, why do they live in the shadows?
Yeah,
is
going
it just
public
because of ostracism, or is it because there's reasons that they live in the shadows?
historically, there are so many reasons, but I think like in today's society with like polyamory is kind of a quasi-accepted thing.
Yeah.
So I think if this would come out nowadays, people wouldn't be as shocked.
Yeah. Well, in many ways, thanks to the Browns. They were revolutionaries.
Right?
They opened our eyes and our ears and our legs to many
Well,
possibilities.
duh. Like, what am I talking about? Like, of course it's because of them. Jesus, Kimberly.
Janelle was really just fishing for a compliment.
I mean, of course she was.
That bitch.
Yeah, I mean, Joe basically says that he feels like going public has to happen in order to help, bring light to the fact that there are different polygamous sects and they all have different beliefs and blah, 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 blah.
Which, of course, allows the show to give Kody another moment to talk about how they are not the stereotype that everyone has of polygamists. He is not at all some evil, I was going to say shrew, harpy. Whatever the other word was that someone told us in a comment about what the actual terms are that we were trying to use.
Siren.
Siren.
And I totally got that wrong. And as soon as I read that comment, I was like, Kimberly, you dumb fucking bitch.
Ah!
Like, you dumb bitch. I can't believe you got siren and harpy mixed up. Like, ugh.
Well, I love because I was
God.
just like, yeah, harpy, like one of those women that just won't shut up.
Well,
like
and
Cody's
oh my
the male
God.
version of that, whatever that is.
I actually was kicking myself when I read that comment because I was like, God, and this is the stuff that drives me nuts. Like,
Right.
when you
right.
get called out for stuff like that and you're like, God, that was really dumb because I'm like a huge sci-fi fantasy nerd. And it's different when you're talking about it.
Even layering on the shame. So you should be
Yeah.
even more ashamed than those deep, dark, dank polygamists
I should be.
living in sin. Now, I believe is when we're going to transition to the discussion of the working out and the built. I was going to say the built Dargers, but like the family that just works out. Like, of
Those
course,
dumbbell Dargers.
Dumbbell Dargers. Oh my gosh, not the dumbbell Dargers. Oh, sorry, Dargers, whatever your names are. That's so bad. But, Christine, of course, has to say, oh, we all know the Dargers work out every day. And they have this discussion about them working out.
Oh, they're
And
an inspiration, darling.
I literally tuned this out because I was like, I cannot listen to the Browns talking about working out anymore. Like, I just am like, I don't give a fuck.
I do have to pause here and say that Janelle actually looks really good on the couch right now. She's sitting, so there's Kody in the middle, of course, as always.
Yeah.
And then Janelle is next to him for once.
Oh,
and
they didn't put her at
Christine
the
is on the
end.
outside. And so she's between Kody and Christine, and she's wearing a red, like, button-up top. And she looks like she's lost weight here.
Interesting.
Like, she actually looked really good, and I made little asterisks next to that so that I would call it out because we talk about her being on the end a lot and it's unfortunate for her. And it fucking is, and this is proof because she deserves some justice.
Yes.
For that. They
She's-
did her real fucking dirty over and over again.
Always. They do her dirty all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me feels like, do the producers not like her? But I don't know that that's the case. It's just when you're at the end of the couch, you're at the widest part of the lens, and it's just so unhelpful.
I think that she is just like an afterthought because she's so like amenable. Like is that amenable?
Whatever that word is.
She goes along with whatever, and she's just willing to take like the butt end of the bread every time. That's what I call it.
The butt end of the bread.
The butt end of the bread. Like, let's say the whole family gets toast and it gets to the last piece, and she's like, I'll take the butt end. And I feel like
Finite resources. Can't buy any more bread.
yeah, and that just goes into like a lot about her past and how she was raised, and she just like gets to take it and take it and take it. Ugh.
Yeah.
And they do her dirty on the couch, and I don't think it even has to do with the producers. I think it just has to do with the wives probably like sitting down and getting their asses in there, and then she just like lollygags on in and
Moseys on
sits
in.
there.
Yeah. I think the truth lies in the middle in the sense that there is some reason that this show doesn't give her a flattering light very regular at all. And maybe it is because of just who she is and how she operates, but it almost feels like at times where it's like, how is this even the case?
Yeah.
Like no one, I mean, other than, well, they don't, I guess they all look terrible. I don't know. God, I don't know what to say.
Now, I have another thing that I would like to bring up here because we go to the Dargers on the couch and I am curious. So we go back and forth between the Browns and the Dargers talking about jealousy issues and how they handle it. And this is an ongoing theme, of course. Of course it is, like in any relationship. But I noticed, and you noticed, that the two first wives of the Dargers look more alike than the twins. And I think that after a while you take on other people's traits, which is why they'll say like, oh, spouses start to look alike, they dress alike, they whatever, you know, people that you're around, you take on their mannerisms. Now, the twin sister was in a marriage for 11 years out, God knows where, with
God knows who.
this person and God knows how many other wives and whatever.
Yep.
And then you've got these two first wives that this is like their first ever relationship, let's be honest. Dating and courting is for the purpose of getting married. So they've never been in a relationship other than with Joe and each other.
Yeah.
And they look a lot alike. They've obviously taken on each other's traits. Their hair looks alike. The way they style themselves is alike. And not in the sense that other polygamists, like other Mormons, do the bouffant.
The
with the
prairie
dress.
look. Yeah, yeah.
Not the prairie look, not on purpose. This is like a slow morphing, taking on traits thing.
100. That's why I thought they were the sisters, because they literally look like twins.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I don't know what that term is. If you know what it is, let us know. But there is a term for that. It's like this osmosis of someone's, you know, vibes, their nest, their looks, this whole thing, you know, and that definitely happens with them.
I noticed it a lot after you pointed it out, because to me at first, I didn't notice that.
Okay.
And I noticed angles where the twins looked a lot alike and their noses looked a lot alike. And I don't want to bring it back to the noses, but like, let's be honest, it comes like to noses and jaws and eye set and whatever. The wife that is not the sister has the ski jump nose, but you're right. The two first wives look like they could be twins.
Yeah, I agree. And this conversation is where the Dargers start talking about this showing affection openly.
Mm-hmm. Like in front of each other.
And how they are comfortable with doing that. And, you know, they kind of give some bullet points. I don't know that any of them have significance.
Like,
do you remember?
how does that take anything away from me? Like,
right.
Love is multiplied, not divided. Like,
yeah.
How does that take anything away from me?
And, you know, logically that makes sense. I'm way too jealous and emotionally based of a person to be in that situation. Like, I would totally be fucked in the brain.
I don't know if I could do that in my marriage, but they're able to. And, like, I'm not going to yuck their yum, but.
I know. I always default to, like, too broad, where I think of ensembles, and like a good star knows when to let someone else shine.
Yes,
and
yes.
That's not the same as a romantic relationship, but there's an element of that.
Yeah, I mean, knowing where each of the other wives like can shine and where you take a step back would be, oh my God, like I don't even know how you would learn that. I just feel like this other family like has it so dialed in, and God, you cannot tell that from one episode. And I know that.
They do seem so much more well-functioned in our introduction to them.
Yeah, I even said to you, I'm like, I would watch a show about these guys. Like, they seem like very interesting people, and maybe they're actually boring because they have it so dialed in.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't know.
Right,
that's why we don't know their name. Like, we know the Browns.
Well, definitely Chris doesn't know their names. There is this back and forth, like you were referencing, with the topics between the Dargers talking about it and the Browns, like the adults. And at one point in this kind of back and forth, Meri has a moment on the couch where she says that they have a lot of things to deal with in their relationships and that they would do that without adding the level of jealousy by sharing affection with each other in front of each other. And it's like, well,
But like, that's a load of fucking bullshit. You guys talk all the time about how you don't talk about your sexual relationships with each other and you don't do that stuff in front of each other because that's crossing a boundary. And they're just so full of their own bullshit all the time, and they waver on like what they do, and they just don't have.
well, and even what would that be? Like,
know.
oh, honey, it's Thanksgiving dinner. Let's fuck on the table. Oh, but no, there's other people around. Like, this stuff doesn't even happen. In like regular relationships, you're not exactly like exhibiting a whole bunch of affection in
Yeah.
certain ways. Like, of course, there's like honeymoon phases and whatever in a relationship, but I don't know. Most people going through their day aren't just like making out with their spouse in front of everybody. Like, that's not exactly typical.
No, and I feel like giving like a peck in front of family or like holding hands or putting your arms around each other is like pretty common, and I think that that's what they do. And you can tell when the Browns do it that they are uncomfortable sometimes. Like the Valentine's episode, for
Yeah.
instance, Kody was showing way more affection to Robyn, and I think we even pointed that out. And that was an odd instance, and I think that we noticed it there because it was an odd instance for them to do that. And it's because they're not actually around each other as much as we would like to fucking
Yeah.
think.
That, and they don't share things with each other. They
And
don't
this
talk
other
about these
family,
things. They're with each other all the
They're
time.
with each other all the time, and they
Yeah.
share way more together. So they have to be around each other when they're having connection or like a peck or a handhold or whatever. And even with my own sister, I'll be like, you know, put my arm around her or like pull her in or things like that. And so to not have that regularly and be married as a family, it just would be so bizarre.
Very weird. I would never be able to do what the Browns claim that they can do, which they can't, clearly.
They don't.
Because I kind of think that my love language is actually physical touch. Like, I'm always kind of doing that with people, and not in a romantic sense, just in a like, I like to like, you know, give someone a hug. I like to
Yeah.
embrace people. I like to touch an arm. Like, I'm all about that shit.
Yes.
And if I wasn't able to if I had to constantly be thinking about not doing that, I would change fundamentally as a person. Like,
Yeah.
not in a good way. Like, I would be uncomfortable all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, we even like, we'll give hugs and like kisses on cheeks, and you will with my husband, and it's like, I wouldn't even think twice
Think
about
it.
it.
When if it happens in front of me, see, I don't even. I'm like, if it happened, like, it does. I don't even
Yeah.
notice it. So I don't know.
I wouldn't,
It's very
I don't
natural
know.
to me.
But they, I think, notice it each time. Like, I can
Yeah.
imagine Meri seeing that and being like,
He doesn't touch me.
I imagine it being a jealousy thing because they're pitted against each other because Kody has no backbone and he's a slug.
In our next scene on this fabulous episode, the kids are going to go to a diner for shakes. Oh, they're walking along the shore. And I noticed when they get to their destination, it's called Cruisin' Cafe 101. And I'm like, yes, the Cruisin' Cafe 101. It's where you go to get a shake on the beach in
I love that you
Oceanside.
caught that.
Oh,
I was like, the kids
yes.
go to a malt shop and they're wearing poodle
Yes,
skirts.
Cruisin' Cafe 101 in their poodle skirts.
And they have socks with little ruffles and their little white sneakers on, and we're back in Greece.
Yeah, I was gonna say the boys' hair is all greased to the side. They've got the little combs in their pockets. Just kidding. There's just a lot of bad clothes and acne because it's teenagers going to Cruisin' Cafe 101. It's really, I feel like when they were walking, it was all the kids. But then when we get inside, it's really just the older kids sitting around a table. And they might have, segregated the kids for like a scene. But the older kids from both families are sitting around this large table in the corner of the diner.
There's more older Darger kids than there are Brown kids.
Maddie points out to the Dargers that they seem very organized as a family.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, in comparison.
They talk a little bit about plural marriage and if anyone from each family is interested in plural marriage. And Caleb Darger says that he does not want plural marriage and he knows that. They kind of each go back and forth and break that down. Did you know anything from like either side about that?
I didn't really care too much about the details of what they were sharing for some reason. I felt like it was a bit filler. The Darger boys, before we get this lovely quote from Caleb, which is one of my favorite quotes from the show, I have to admit, the Darger boys do make inference and kind of some repeated comments about how Joe is like a no-nonsense, take charge kind of guy. And that's another thing throughout this episode where they're kind of doing this display of like Kody and his kids versus Joe and his kids. Yep. And I noticed a lot of the kids totally look not inbred. And so take that for what it's worth. And Caleb has this lovely quote when he's talking about his father, Joseph, the patriarch of the Darger family. And he refers to his dad as big, bald, and intimidating.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, big, bald, and intimidating. And it does fit. I think intimidating is a teenager, taking that from their dad and their life experience. He does, I can see it.
He has some serious eyes. He has that serious look.
He's big and bald. And I would be if he was coming at me being like, listen, I'd be like, oh, I am intimidated. So I can see that
Daddy.
happening. Yeah, totally, Dad, whatever you have to say, tell me what to do. So I don't know. I kind of felt like the scene was a bit throwaway. I don't know that I learned anything other than that Joe is big, bald, and intimidating.
The Darger moms are a good team, is what I took away from it. And that Joe has a plan for everything. Whereas Logan says that they each go to a different mom for different areas of expertise. And Caleb says that Joe is an encyclopedia, basically, and they go to Joe for the answers.
That's right.
And then Maddie says, our house is chaos.
Yeah.
Affirming what we know.
Telling us what we know.
They show the little brother with the large forehead a few times, like smiling and giggling along like Beavis and Butthead style. But
totally not inbred.
But Caleb is giving the answers. And I'm not going to say it's rehearsed. I don't think it's rehearsed. I think that it's just organic that he's the older brother and he's giving the answers just kind of like how Logan is.
I think as he gets older, he might realize that he's a little big, bald, and intimidating.
I think so.
I think he might have a little of his daddy inside of him.
I think so.
Although I ironically don't think that's actually his bio dad. I think
no,
that
I don't think it is.
A bottom third saying that it was like from the previous marriage.
Yeah,
of his mom's,
yeah.
so.
I think that that's one of Val's like older sons from a previous marriage, which I gotta say, the vibe that I got was that she was kind of scared to like maybe leave that marriage, which is why it took a while. And she maybe didn't know if she'd be able to like take her kids with her. And
sure.
It kind of speaks that her older son is here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When we leave Cruisin' Cafe 101, which, happens to be along Highway 101, and you can cruise there to that cafe.
And you can cruise in their bathroom.
Well, this is it. The adults are walking along the beach in our next scene. They're going to go to Deanie's Bistro. DINI' Bistro. Deanie's Bistro. I wish we got a little bit more of the interior because I'm like, what was this place really like? But unfortunately, we just got all the adults around the table for a while talking. Now,
yep.
I don't know if I should say unfortunately. I guess that's why we're watching this show. But the Browns talk about the challenges of living in separate homes since they moved to Vegas. Christine says they had to do a reset. And I was surprised that she knew the word reset.
Yeah, Joe is wondering, like, did you envision this? Did you expect 4 separate homes? Like, what's going on here? Like, he is kind of surprised by it. And was this an accident? He doesn't get it.
And now Kody talks about some things that none of us will get.
Oh, my God.
Kody fucking Brown. He says that when they were moving to Vegas, he was thinking they'd find a short sale from a rich person.
Some millionaire would have lost his home.
Some rich person would have gone into short sale on their home. 10, 15, 20, 30, 50,000 square feet. He just throws out some numbers.
Yeah.
And a house that would maybe have like 4 kitchens and 25 bedrooms. And I'm staring at the TV going, he's being sarcastic, right? Like he's being silly. He's making this up. I don't think he was. I think he was being serious. Like an idiot. I was going WTF.
No, like what were they gonna get? Like the Bunny Ranch, like outside of Vegas?
Right,
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what was that show that used to be on with the like
about the brothel?
about the brothel?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think that like after that guy
They
died in the bed there that
but
you were
see,
gonna?
that's too separate. See, this is the thing. Like, I don't.
The kitchen would be larger.
They have a commercial kitchen. Everyone has their own
Yep.
space. Hey, maybe they should have got a motel.
Yeah.
But instead, they found that the big homes in Vegas had like 5 bedrooms and 1 kitchen because they were standard homes.
Yeah,
And not defaults and
God.
short sales for multimillionaires with 4 kitchens. I'm like, I don't know. I've been in some pretty big homes, and you might have a kitchen.
Like a
and
butler's
a
kitchen.
butler's kitchen. You might even have a little kitchenette in your basement.
Yep.
You got some things. No home has 4 kitchens. Like, I shouldn't say no home. The compound in Lehigh had 3, so I don't know.
Maybe he's just that like dumb that he thinks that that's common.
Yeah,
I don't get what he thought here. Like a condo situation, perhaps.
I have no idea. It just made him sound really, really stupid, and I was waiting for the moment where he was going to laugh or make it clear that he was joking, and
Yeah,
that
he did not. He
happen.
was not joking. It was
He
very bizarre.
Doesn't know anything. And the Darger women, the Darger wives, whichever wives, not sure who, were like, you got to try the 1 kitchen again. Eventually you'll get it and it'll be smooth sailing. Yeah, no, not for the Browns. Definitely not.
Yeah, and then Meri says, well, how do you handle like when each of you wants to decorate differently?
Yeah.
And then one of the Darger wives is like, is how you want to decorate worth separating your kids over and how you raise your family?
Right.
And
Isn't
she
that
kind of
more
says it
important?
like that, like, is this a joke? Like, are you really asking me that? Like, being in a plural marriage is about compromise.
Yeah.
And the Dargers talk about that again. It's about compromise. Like, I can't believe you're bringing up, like, how you're going to decorate your home versus how you're going to raise your children. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I know, because I'm going like, God, I'd pick the decorating over the children. But I also don't have any children, so the math is mathing on that one.
So Kody says that he wouldn't choose for them to share a kitchen again because of their differences. And he says, I'm not being sexist, but the kitchen needs to be their domain.
Yes.
They need to have ownership of their own kitchen,
Yeah.
basically based on the past. And then in front of the Dargers, Kody says, I have 2 wives who think sharing a kitchen can be abusive.
Okay. 2 wives.
So he specifically says, I have 2 wives who think it can be abusive. He doesn't even say, like, he's putting the blame on them.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who think it can be abusive. Now, he doesn't say it like that. He basically is, like, scared. And he even says, like, I'm not going to let Joe push this idea on me. This is just not something that we're going to try again. And I think it's something that my family is still probably never going to get over. And then we go to the couch where the Browns are having their confessional, and Meri says that she takes that statement personally because she knows that Janelle thinks she abused her.
Meri does start her statement by saying it makes me sad,
Yeah.
which I kind of have a hard time sometimes putting my finger on Mary's actual emotions, because she'll say statements like, it makes me sad, and then cry about what she's talking about. And I go like, I don't know if she's really sad. I have a hard time following it. It almost seems like maybe she just feels like she's getting called out on things.
And she can't handle it.
And she can't, I don't know. It's hard for me to navigate. But when she references, the relationship at the beginning, and she knows that Janelle thinks that she abused her, she's like, it was never my intention to do that, Janelle, to you. I'm sorry, Janelle. And it's like, well, she literally is apologizing.
She does apologize. And she says that she had a louder voice and she hadn't learned how to temper it.
Yeah.
And that Janelle didn't have that loud of a voice. And Janelle says that she didn't know that she could speak up and that Kody didn't step up for her. Now, I really, really think that Kody is the type of narcissist that will pit people against each other to feed his own ego.
Wow, yeah.
And I think that they're realizing it maybe for the first time because they're having to sit down and do these interviews. And I think it's super emotional and like ripping open these scars again because they're realizing for the first time that Kody, as the man of the house, should have been the one based on their religion, based on how they were raised. And they didn't have role models because they were like, basically you're like thrust into this, right? Like everything's secretive, whatever. And then here you go. You're handed off to your husband who's supposed to know how to do everything.
Right.
Well, then you got a husband that's like a little pipsqueak that doesn't step up.
Yeah.
And they all just didn't know what to do. And I'm not saying that Kody bears all the responsibility and that he should have known what to do. But then you go to a guy like Joe, who was probably in a similar situation.
Yeah.
And yet it played out so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're realizing for maybe like the first time, and it has been said in their original book and Christine's book that they hadn't spoken openly until the couch interviews.
Right.
So I really, truly think in real time, we are seeing them realize Kody's faults.
Yeah. Not explicitly calling them out, just probably putting pieces together.
Yeah.
You're right. Christine references in her book and in Becoming Sister Wife, well, talks about how
hard it was.
how hard it was to have these conversations because they didn't really have honest conversations. And then they have producers and directors prodding them.
Mm-hmm.
And Kody should have stepped up in that in some way.
If
provided
he's supposed
some
to be the
direction.
go-between.
He's the man of the house, whatever. You know, Meri was the first wife. So Joe married these two women at the same time.
Yeah.
Meri did have the one up on being the first wife. And then Janelle came in. And yeah, there's so many different dynamics happening here. But really, Kody does kind of make it seem like he has no part of it. No part of it, right? He's
He
just
pits
the man.
these women against each other all the time.
He's just the man. These women have issues.
I'm going to
Meri's-
step back. You guys make the decisions. He doesn't want to be the bad guy ever.
Ever. No.
He's going to let anyone else take the blame but him.
And Meri was, you know, she probably was a bitch. She probably just said whatever was on her mind. And maybe if she didn't, even if she maybe was just more passive aggressive or just like rude, okay, well, that was her vibe. And she probably was allowed to get away with it because Kody didn't do anything. And then Janelle's like, why can't I have anything the way I want it? Why is everything that I do wrong, you know?
And when you dig into like the history of like Mormonism and plural marriage, historically, the first wife makes the decisions and speaks for everybody. So if Meri really truly thought that that's what she was supposed to do, and if she was raised that that's what she was supposed to do, then she was doing it. And Janelle didn't come from that background.
That's true.
So she didn't know that, like, oh, I'm going to be joining this marriage, and not only do I have to answer to Kody, but I do have to answer to Meri, and she's in charge of me as the first wife. So I think that there is bad communication on multiple levels. And when you look at what happened with Kody's father, he is in a plural marriage because of essentially cheating. And he put his wife, his first wife, in that position by essentially cheating. And it's poly under duress, but, you know, the woman is subservient. So I had to step back and say, okay, I guess this is all right. And yes, we're going to just change our religion and our outlook on life because the man says it's so. And so Kody is used to the women like cowing to the man, but he doesn't know how to be the man. So, like, how do you get these women to submit other than just plotting them against each other until you're right?
I'm curious about the elements, too, of the women. So I totally agree with you about the Kody perspective or the Kody vibes. I think there's another thing too with them. I'm having flashbacks to the most recent season of Sister Wives where Janelle talks about like shoving food down the sink drain because she knew it'd piss Meri off. Janelle's not some like delicate flower who was being stepped on by the big giant Meri. Like, I think Janelle lets the narrative play out the way it does because she doesn't look bad. Meri looks bad. Meri looks like the one who's the domineering harpy siren bitch.
Everyone wants to pit everyone against each other.
Everyone wants to hate on Meri, but really, I don't think. Definitely, most of the onus has to come on Kody for not doing anything. Typical man. just
But
whatever.
if you're bringing women into this situation and you're supposed to be the head of the household,
Yeah.
this is why.
Oh, God, here she goes, girls.
No, oh my God, this is exactly why. It's like, all right, all of the wars, all of the like, I'm not even gonna go into it,
Right.
But like,
right.
oh my God, men are so fucking stupid sometimes, and they think they should be in charge and they can't handle it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prime example of it. They can't even handle it in a situation like this, much less handling a whole country. But
Yeah, he's
I
got to
digress.
run away and put his head in the sand and avoid it. And then if anything comes up, pit them against each other.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, let me manipulate them into thinking that they're the ones that are wrong here.
Oh, God. It's messy.
It's
messy.
and they're
none of us were
realizing it in
there.
front of us.
None of us, yes. And they're putting pieces together, but also not allowing each other, not allowing themselves to really tear into those things. Just probably get upset.
Yeah.
And, I guess I'll give Meri kudos for apologizing to Janelle. Once again, I can't really read Meri sometimes, so sometimes even her apologies feel a little like if you need it or like kind of bitchy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like the way she words things is like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Or, yeah, like Janelle feels that I abused her.
Yeah.
She's putting like the feeling on them, which is kind of like what you're taught to do in customer service, to be honest. Like, you don't apologize for anything because that's like admitting wrongdoing, but you say like, oh, I'm sorry you had that experience or that you felt like it went that way. And so she's being very, I'm going to put this on them and not take the blame. But I think these emotions are real.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that she actually feels really horrible, and I don't think she ever would really mean to abuse somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that she
Agreed.
is remorseful.
I agree with that. She literally says something like, I didn't know it was too much at the time. Like she might have not known. I don't know.
I just feel bad for both of them, and I feel like Kody did fail them because if you're going to position yourself in this like power role and then you're not stepping up to fulfill it, you are letting the people down.
That's true. That's true.
That's like just like a parent with like 2 little kids,
Oh.
You're the parent, you're letting them down. We have to think of it like these women are kind of raised to be subservient and like childlike in some ways. And if like, if a parent's not stepping it up, kids aren't equipped to handle the situation, then of course they're like set up to fail.
Yeah. Interesting transition point because then Joe starts talking about his business background and how he wanted to make a mission statement for their family because he always saw the value in that. I've been a part of a few mission statement exercises at workplaces and not necessarily like, oh, you're going to put it on a billboard or you're going to have it be your whatever, but like literally, what is the mission of your team? What is your goal? When you're coming to a decision point, when you're doing whatever, what is the priority? And this seems like it's triggered because of Kody's inability to lead his family, and they're sharing an example of it. And Joe's like, hello, this is what I've done.
Joe says that he was surprised by how the conversation took a turn when it came to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so he brought up that he was a business major and that he made the wives write a mission statement and that all of the wives separated and had time to write their own mission statement. And then they came together and took the parts that they each wanted. and put it into one family mission statement. And Vicky again makes a comment like, what am I willing to sacrifice for this? What am I willing to sacrifice for the family that I want and that I believe is like my true calling? And then Joe calls out again, like, this is not for a moment. This is for forever. It is do or die.
Yeah.
He literally says.
Yeah.
So for him, he's like, if I am running like my household, I am running it like a business, and like I'm getting us to heaven.
Yes, it's for eternity, and he
Getting
makes
us
that
all
very
in
clear.
there.
He's not
Open those
making
pearly
it's no joke. And then this leads into them talking about how Joe gets to see his kids every day. And I thought this was a very interesting point because I don't know if they're aware. I mean, obviously they must know that Kody's with the 4 houses. There's some things. It didn't come across as too much of a dig, but it's like no, it's important for me to see my kids every day. That is part of they didn't share their mission statement, but I'm sure it's a crucial part of their mission statement is that they are together every day. That's their family, and it's important.
Kody's bed checks, man, they're not happening.
Oh, yeah, no, those bed checks. Oh, yeah, those bed checks.
Yeah.
So with the Dargers, bragging about their great family and how it's run like a
And how
business and
perfect
it's
they
smooth
are.
sailing and they have record profits every quarter. We're back on the couch with the Browns and Kody asks if they should make a mission statement. And once again, we get to hear from every wife, which they tend to do. And that's all good. Robyn says yes, she'd love to do a mission statement. Meri says, sure, I'd be happy to do so. Christine says, I always wanted one. I've always dreamed of a mission statement. And then we get to Janelle, and she says, I don't see the value, but I'll do it. It's like, okay, Janelle, all right. I mean, I don't know if I want to say I don't like this about her, but she phones in so much stuff sometimes. It's like, bitch, be a participant in your own life.
I feel like she seems defeated because she was the one that was all about, no, we need to have the homes together. We need to be together for the children. If you think back to the first season, she was all about together and the togetherness and raising the children together. And, if you go back to that and then you come to now and you're talking about the house budgets, and I think she's been beaten down and she seems super defeated, because I think if you would have asked Janelle this in season 1, even season 2, she would have been like gung-ho about it. But she could fucking care less right now.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe.
Yeah.
Meri jokes that it's just another thing they can take on board from the Dargers.
Yep.
She's like, I could take another thing on board from the Dargers. And she's talking about Joe's big, bald head.
Schlong.
We cut back to the table. They're all talking about taking another trip next year. Ha, 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 ha. Look at our plig trip. Look at us polygamists. We're having so much fun. Janelle talks about how monogamists have many examples of how other people live their lives and they see all these things, and polygamists have fewer. And this always strikes with me, and I've talked about it before on this show, that as a little homosexual who is still in the closet, I didn't have many examples of queer people growing up, and the ones that were there were either a stupid waiter that was silly, or a tragic victim, someone who was on their deathbed, or they were shunned by society, living
Being
in the
shamed.
shadows. So there is an element of truth to that, and I get it. I think it's hard to carve your own. It's easier for me to have carved my own path because I am by myself doing my thing, whatever. When you're building a community as a family, like your own little unit, there's so many more complications and so many more layers.
Yeah, and at the time, they're doing voiceovers from Janelle and Kody talking about family and what it means, and they're giving shots of all of the homes, like these sepia shots.
Of their current homes outside?
Yeah. And then we get a comment from the Dargers, and they think that the Browns just have chaotic bliss. They're living in chaotic bliss.
Chaotic bliss. And Kody says, well, we've moved from reacting to situations to planning for them. And I'm going, oh, I think that's a bit optimistic of your
Since
view.
when?
Like, okay, so after 3 seasons now, or 2, let's go with 2, you've finally got a pre-approval and may be able to afford some homes. So I don't know. You literally thought you were going to move into a rich person's house that was evacuated in a rush and had 4 kitchens.
Yeah.
You are not a planner, sir. You are reacting to situations still. What a joke.
But then he says, the homes are the first big plan we finally have.
It's a beautiful thing. Christine says that I think the houses are going to be better than what we had in Lehigh. Interesting foreshadowing. Not only that it's not going to be better, but that she doesn't want to live with the other women. She does not want to live with her sister wives.
And then we cut away with another gorgeous aerial shot of the cul-de-sac.
Oh. Meri leaves us with these words, there will be another learning curve. What the fuck?
So we're floating away with the cul-de-sacs in Mary's quote.
And it's just a disaster. This family is a mess.
Oh,
Almost as much of a
Lordy.
mess as I am.
Oh my God.
So if you guys are still here with us, we made it through the episode. There is a coming up on at the end, which Kimber had a visceral reaction to, because in our next episode, those of you who have seen the show know that what I'm going to talk about, which is the debate discussion with the Browns and some former polygamists who are all like, girl, this ain't right, this is bad. And we get that girl with the bleach. Oh, Kimber, I would like for you to actually describe what this woman looks like, because I'm not going to give it justice.
That hair's fried, dyed, and laid to the side.
Yes, it is!
And it is blown back upward and hairsprayed to the high heavens. And it is so far gone that it's behind Jesus' back.
It's so good.
And
I was like, Kimber, have you looked like this girl? I think I've seen photos where you
Bitch, I might have.
You kind of look like this girl.
No, the side of my head was fully shaved. I was a little more aggressive.
You were a little more emo, yeah.
Yeah, I was taken aback by this to be coming. What are they? To be coming.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Yeah, I just call it coming up on. So I don't know what the
Next
real term is. Yeah,
episode.
next episode. ... Are you familiar with this girl? Do you know who she is?
No.
You don't? Okay. See, this, what I love is like, she's a benchmark in this show. Like
Okay.
next episode, I'm really looking forward to next episode because she lets them have it.
Okay.
And she looks
so
the way she looks.
What I gotta say is I watched the first probably like 3 seasons of the show while they were airing in real time. And then as a reminder, like I've said, I've seen snippets here and there on social media and like little updates. And then when this podcast started, I didn't start watching again, but I was listening. And when we decided to take on this adventure together as bosom buddies, I decided that I wouldn't watch anything or even watch clips on social media. I've been avoiding it because I want real time like reactions from myself, and I want to learn as I would have learned the first time watching it through.
Yes. I'm just so looking forward to hearing your opinions about this girl because she is young, sassy, bleach blonde, lots of eye makeup, and she knows everything.
Okay.
So I'm excited to hear what you have to say
she's like
about
me.
her. Well, maybe when you were younger and you thought you knew everything. Not like today. Not like today.
Okay. Not like
not
now,
like the
where
harpy,
I really do.
not like the shrew you are today. So when we started recording, you referenced that you looked up the Dargers because we were wondering about what was going on with them or who they were. And I said, I think they might have had a show. What are we circling back to in your, very deep scholastic searching?
Yeah. So this was 2 years ago. They're still together. Joe has issued public criticism of Kody, and he has blamed the demise of the family on Kody. That's kind of all I know. He's still married to them, I think. And oh my God, this gets even worse. He married Alina and Vicky, who are cousins, on the same day. And then 10 years later, he married Vicky's twin sister, Valerie, Val.
They didn't tell us that they were cousins.
Incidentally, Joe's late uncle was the ex-husband of Christine Brown's anti-polygamist aunt.
Right. Oh, God.
This shit gets even crazier, apparently.
They filmed a pilot for a proposed reality show, House Full of Spouses? And they gained notoriety through the book. So they didn't have a show. It was the book, Love Times 3. So they were trying to get their own show, basically, is what I'm assuming. They wrote a book. I wonder if it's any better than Becoming Sister Wives. And then they filmed a pilot for a show called House Full of Spouses. Oh, God. I love this. The Google AI thing says Joe Darger is married to twin sisters Vicky and Valerie and their cousin Alina.
Yeah.
Whoa.
People are like, to be honest, the family creeped me out. They're weird, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is so interesting because, like, I didn't get that. I got, they just know what they want and they're, like, more regimented.
Wow. I totally thought they had their own show.
I did not know or think that, but I was thinking, like, it would be interesting if they had done a spinoff with another family.
You know, to me, they didn't seem terribly creepy or weird or strange. It's hard to say that about a family like this when you read the bullet points on a Google search and it's like, Joe Darger married twin sisters and then their cousin. Like, oh my God. Oh no. You guys, this is... Oh no.
Ugh.
What is happening? My entire existence just crumbled in front of my eyes.
Apparently, one of the sons has stated that he was like a general and the wives and kids were like his foot soldiers, which is hilarious because I did just compare them to like a military leader versus like a Boy Scout leader.
You totally did.
Yeah, I guess I just gotta say, like, any of these things like are problematic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's problems everywhere, and you cannot just based on one episode judge anybody. I mean, I think it's hard to put on a complete front. Like, I think that, but then also like narcissists are very good at putting on a complete front.
That's true. Also some of these search results connect Big Love, that scripted show. They are considered inspiration for the HBO series Big Love, specifically the character Bill Hendrickson, and they knew the actor Bill Paxton, who played the lead in Big Love. God, this is... Even their story and the connectivity to this show is incestuous, and that's not even talking about how they're incestuous. Oh, God.
Yeah, I am going to have to like put together a list of shows that I think that people should watch if they're interested even further in the history of Mormonism and polygamy, because I just think that there's a lot of, anytime it comes to religion, right? There's a lot of crazy history and manipulation, and I truly think a lot of religion was set up by the higher ups as a manipulation tactic, right? And I think a lot of these people are brainwashed. I don't know.
I'm a bit speechless for a
I know. I feel like
podcast
we need to like bring it back.
It's so weird. No, it's just so weird that we just rehashed this entire episode, and then to find out these things that were not presented. It's also another example of reality TV, editing, producers. They were setting up this whole thing to try to get these people a show. They were trying to sell a book, or they sold a book. They were doing these things. Meanwhile, I mean, I guess it's just taking what we already knew and making it a little worse. I can't believe that they were cousins that married the same man.
Tinfoil hats, baby. I gotta say, I'm very curious. I want to do some more like digging into this family because the wool could have been pulled over on our eyes. It, like it very well could have been like it has been with Kody. Like narcissists have a good way of like hiding their true colors. Who knows what's really going on here? The son was speaking for all of the children in the one scene.
Yeah.
Who knows what that means? So I think that to really draw conclusions, I don't want to ruin the Brown story for myself, which is why I haven't been watching stuff. But I'm going to look into this, and maybe at the start of next episode, we'll come back with some answers about where this family is at today, because I don't think that'll ruin stuff. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Very interesting way to end this episode, because the next episode is about the Browns being criticized for being polygamous.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
there's some tie-ins.
Okay.
The Dargers, man, I don't even know what to say. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
We're going to look into it a little bit. I want to come
Yes.
back with some answers for everybody.
I love it. I love it. This is going to help me with my shit stain, that's for sure. So, darling, would you like to start with your mustard seed for this episode? Who really made you feel like they could be a tree under the sun for the children to sit under and get some shade when they grow up? Because, now they're just a seed going in the ground.
Everybody in this episode seemed very like we're putting on a happy face
Yes.
and like we're doing this.
Agreed.
And I don't know if anybody like truly shone through the clouds for me. But I would probably say that it was Christine.
Okay.
There's really no other reason than like her blind optimism.
Ah, yeah.
Like she's talking about, oh, like I'd be open to one of like the kids getting like married to one of the other kids. Like we're friends with them. And like her naivete is like endearing sometimes.
Okay.
And I think she was like truly raised in this religion and like raised like a little princess in her family. And I really think she's like so naive sometimes. And that's not usually like an endearing quality, but in episodes like this, or sometimes when you're like screaming out loud, why does nobody see this? At least I can look to her and be like, I think because she really truly doesn't see this because she was raised in it and like her family is this type of way. And I don't know, I think there is a lot of sincerity to her because she's so naive. And she has a lot of little like cute moments throughout the episode that are drawn back to the naivete. That's all. That's like all. Like I really don't think there's a shining star here.
No, there definitely is not. I think I'm going to default to giving my mustard seed to Logan, because when the kids were at the Cruising Cafe 101, he was speaking for the family in a way that didn't feel terrible to me. And realistically, if we're picking a mustard seed out of this episode, it is slim pickings.
It really was.
There's like nothing that was great. It was a 44-minute episode of 50 people going on vacation, and I don't really like any of them. And now that the episode's ending, I'm like, I definitely don't like them. So
like back and forth and back and forth. And like,
it was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to give it to Logan because I don't really see anybody else worthy of it. So that's where I'm defaulting to. And I mean, I'm Team Logan, so I'll give it to Logan.
Yeah.
Now, shit stain. Woo!
I'm going to give my shit stain to Carl.
Ah!
And don't you fucking get mad at me because it's not a family member.
Yes.
Because he had 0.5 seconds on a show that he knew he was being filmed for, and he's in charge of being a face for a business, and he says a sexist joke about having a daughter and a female dog. A female dog.
Yeah.
And he's got too many chicks in his life, and he's getting them left, right, and center, and god damn it, he's beating them off with sticks. And, you know, my rental business here, Carl.
If that's your real name.
You sexist bastard. And you know what? If the Brown curse is true, Carl's rental place.
Does it still exist, or has it been browned?
Still exist? Browned. He's making a big X with his arms right now.
I love that. Thank you for the comment left recently on the Artful Potterer.
Artful Potter is no more.
It has been browned. It is
Goodbye.
no longer there. Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, definitely. He's terrible.
We all know everyone's fucking terrible in the family, so I just gotta say that.
I know. I think my shit stain, I feel like I have to give it to Joe Darger. Because, like, you married cousins and then married one of their twin sisters. I am in shock. They did not tell us that they were cousins in this episode, which is a production issue. It's not necessarily his issue, but he married cousins on the same day that look like twins.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to like figure this out.
This is it. Like, I went from going like, this guy's not that bad to this guy's terrible.
I literally, with blind optimism, was
God.
watching this whole episode.
Honey,
like,
I
he
know.
should be the outline for the Browns. Like, what are the Browns
What are the Browns
doing?
doing?
And
oh God,
now I'm like, what are the Dargers doing?
Yeah.
And not like as if I didn't already think marrying sisters was bad enough.
I know. Well, this is it.
But I was giving him like a pass because I was like,
We were being way too generous to him.
Too fucking nice.
Way too generous. The big, bald, and intimidating Joe Darger.
ooh.
Wow, I am in shock.
We're
I am in
shooketh.
shock.
Shooketh to the core.
In shock. I just don't even know what to say. Our Keep Sweet moment this episode comes to us from Spotify. It is a comment from Fab Poppy. Hello, Fab Poppy.
Ooh, puppy.
Fab Poppy says, I've binged all the previous episodes and finally caught up to today, and now I feel lost. What do you mean I have to wait a week for a new episode now? I love your show. Well, Fab Poppy, you know, hopefully you have as low opinion about the Dargers as I do now. I'm rendered speechless on a podcast. I don't even know what to say.
Buy me a margarita.
Well, this is it. Maybe the tequila clouded my judgment, and I thought that Joe Darger was the good guy, but turns out he's just like a big penis.
Honey, what's been your excuse for the last, I won't even say how many years then.
How do you say touche in Spanish?